Hello, YouTube. It's Hobo Mackie here. I'm at Lido Key in Sarasota, Florida. Right now, I'm on the beach. It's a little foggy and misty, or not really misty, but foggy. It was a little bit misty earlier. It's supposed to clear out and get nice and sunny today, so we'll see. It's still in the morning. Um, but yeah, I'm doing top 10 reasons why backpack living is better than van living. I've done both. I've done both for several years. Um, and so I think I have a good idea of why I think backpack living is in fact better than van living. It's probably not for everybody. Um, there's definitely reasons why people might choose van living over backpacking. Um, it's just not for everybody, but for me, it's perfect and it's way better. And there's lots of reasons why, and I'm about to list them. This also applies to any kind of vehicle living, van living. Um, I actually didn't live out of a van. I lived out of a truck with a camper top. Um, but yeah, RV living, any kind of living where you're trying to save money without paying rent, basically, or paying a mortgage, and you're just trying to live free. Um, I started off van living. That's how I got into this, and then I eventually got rid of my truck, and I just started living out of a backpack. All right, so number 10, uh, it's too comfortable, van living, um, which could be a good thing, which is probably one of the reasons why you might want to live out of a van. But for me, being too comfortable is a bad thing because it makes you soft, it makes you weak, it makes you unhealthy. Um, so, for example, in a van or a truck, you can have a mattress to sleep on, something nice and soft. And, for most people, that's what they want. And I used to live, I've probably spent the majority of my life on a mattress, but, that's only because I didn't realize how much better it is to sleep on the ground. It's better for your back, and it's just way more. It's just way. I can sleep anywhere. I don't need a mattress. I don't need to have something to take care of and something to replace. Mattresses can be expensive, um, and so it's not needed. But it's more than that. It's also that you end up just laying around in your van all day long, not doing anything, and it's just too comfortable. You don't get any exercise, uh, and exercise is important to being healthy. And when I say exercise, I mean you don't you're not active. You know, I don't like exercise and like go to a gym or something. I hate that kind of exercise. I hate when I'm sitting there looking at the clock and being like, well, I've been on the treadmill for 20 minutes. How much longer do I got to do this? That's not how it is for me. I get exercise and I don't even think about it. I'm just enjoying my day. I'm walking to the beach. I'm bicycling down the coast. I'm always up and at it and doing something all day long, and that's constant exercise. I'm not in the best shape right this second, but I'm in a lot better shape than I was when I was van living. I'm a lot tougher. I'm a lot healthier. I'm a lot happier. And I think all that goes hand in hand. It's not just physically tough, I'm mentally tougher. Living out of a backpack, you have to be tougher. You have to get used to things, and it takes time. So, for example, you might think sleeping on the ground is uncomfortable. Force yourself to do it for 3 months, and then what you'll be surprised to find out is that you'll actually prefer to sleep on the ground. If you can give me a bed and I will sleep right next to it on the floor because that's what I want. That's what I prefer. And I sleep like a baby. I get great sleep every single night. And because I can do that, I can sleep anywhere. In the Everglades one time, I couldn't find a dry place to sleep. The only place that was dry was like on a bed of jagged rocks, and I literally slept on a bed of jagged rocks, and I slept just fine, no problems. So that's number 10. Too comfortable. Number 9. I have a little list here. Give me a second. Finding parking and parking fees. So when you have a van, you always have to park it. So, for example, I'm at Lido Key, and I was noticing out front, all the parking spots you got to pay for. And I'm sure there's some public parking, but this is not a huge place, and I'm sure the public parking gets filled up. Plus, there's always the stress of having to find a parking spot. So, you know, I came I just came from Mayaca State Park, which is kind of in the center of Florida, and now I'm on the coast. And I spent $1.25 total, just on one bus fare, and then I bicycled the rest of the way here. Um, and that's all I spent. This lifestyle is about not spending money. This is about living life rather than worrying about money all the time and being stressed about money. So parking fees and always having to find somewhere to park. You always got to have somewhere to put your vehicle. If you want to go hike the Appalachian Trail and go do something adventurous like that, you got to find somewhere to park your vehicle for a long extended period of time. You might have to find a storage unit or something so you could and pay them $50 for a month of park your vehicle or something like that. Uh, and it's just one thing to worry about that I no longer have to worry about now that I got rid of the vehicle. All right, so that was number 9. So we're on number 8. There's a constant worry of being broken into, and once you have a van or a vehicle, you can have more stuff, and when you have more stuff, that you have more things to take care of. You have more things to look out for. Um, I found that I had a hard time leaving my vehicle when I was living in a vehicle because I was always worried someone was going to break into my vehicle. And part of the reason why is that somebody did try to break into my vehicle while I was in my truck. That was in Las Vegas. Um, this creepy dude came up and he kind of like lightly tapped on my window. He didn't know if anybody was in there or not. And I was like, yeah. And then he got like real nervous and like just started going, just like talking gibberish kind of. And I was like, you need to get out of here, dude. And I watched him walk away, and he was like some crackhead looking dude and just creepy as hell. And then from that point on, it was just really hard to ever leave my vehicle because of people like that just roam around and look for vehicles to break into and stuff. So when you have a vehicle and you got all your valuables and your stuff in it, you're constantly worried about it. If I was out here at the beach right now and my vehicle's parked over there, I'd be worried. What if somebody's breaking in and grabbing all my stuff right now? But right now, I got everything that I own with me, so there's no worries. I'm totally relaxed and just free to enjoy my day. I don't have. It's not that I'm not worried about anything. All right, number 7, confined space. So when you live out of a vehicle, you're in a confined space. Especially when I lived out of my truck and I just had a little camper top over it. I could sit up and I could lay down. That was really it. That's all the space I have. In a van, you have a little more space. In an RV, you have even more space. But the bigger your vehicle, the harder it's going to be to move around, to find places to park. Just a bigger target. It's harder to boondock and find free places to camp because the bigger your vehicle, the more you stand out. Um, so, regardless, even if you do have a big RV, you're in a confined space. You only have so much space. An RV can only be as wide as a road lane. Um, and same thing with a van. You're just cramped in this little van, the same place all the time. It doesn't really matter where you're at, whether you're in Florida or Alaska. You're really just sitting in a van all day. I guess you can look out the window and see different things. But right now, look how much space I have. I got unlimited space, totally free. It's like, you know, some say I'm homeless. I feel like the planet is my home. The entire, everywhere is my home, and so I don't feel homeless. And I love it. I just love it. I love having all the open space and be free as a bird. I'm not confined in a Walmart parking lot, sitting in my van all day long. All right. And number 6 is noise. I found when living out of a vehicle so many times, you end up getting, there's so many different noise pollutions out there. Like, for instance, a semi trucker might pull up next to you. Be in the middle of the night, and you'll be sleeping. And all of a sudden, a loud semi truck pulls right up next to you and runs their engine, and it's just super loud. And they pull right up next to you. They have no concern for you whatsoever. And then you literally have to get up in the middle of the night and move your vehicle somewhere away from the semi trucker. I've had instances where I'll be in a parking lot somewhere and a bunch of kids late at night will come by and start skateboarding all around, and they're just being kids, nothing wrong with that. But I'm sitting here trying to get some sleep, and I got to deal with all these young people, uh, hooping and hollering, which reminds me, there was a time in California, and I don't remember the place. It was some sort of off-road vehicle area out in the desert. And who would think out in the desert I would have any problems with noise? But it was like the worst night of my life, because there was all these kids out there getting drunk and on drugs or something. And it was like their first night ever getting drunk. And they were just hooping and hollering and just all night long. And they were driving ATVs and dirt bikes all over the place. And they were having the time of their life, but I was just miserable because they were being so ridiculously annoying and loud. I think they literally were coming up to my truck and then purposely, like, screaming just to freaking be fucking idiot kids because they thought it was funny or whatever. And I had to get up and move away, and it just sucks in the middle of the night when you got to get up and do that. Yeah, there's more. There's so many times where there's just noise and you can't control it. Car alarms. I've had car alarms going off. And it's just so annoying when you're sitting there. Like, it's got to go off at some point. Somebody's got to come and turn it off. I had it where it was like in a car park, like in a auto sales lot. One was going off, and I was like, well, the battery's got to die at some point, but no, it just went on and on. And then, I had to get up and move. That's all you can do. End of the day. As far as backpacking, never. I can't think of a single time where I had any problems with noise when I was sleeping. Because I can go away. I can get somewhere where people aren't going to bother me, or there just aren't people, and they don't have their vehicles can't drive up to me and stuff, and they don't even know I'm there, and so I've never had a problem with noise while backpacking. Number 6. More run-ins with law enforcement. Not only more run-ins with law enforcement, I've actually never had a run-in with law enforcement backpacking, which I've just been lucky. It'll happen. I'm not just lucky, but I usually pick good spots where nobody's ever going to know I'm there. I've had a run-in with law enforcement while I was hitchhiking once, but while living out of my truck, I had tons of run-ins with law enforcement. Never got a ticket or anything at all. I always got moved along. But if you do like to, in fact, drink alcohol or smoke marijuana or anything, you're not going to want to do that while living out of a van. It's way easier to do that while you're sleeping in the woods or something like that, because you never have to worry, or almost never have to worry about law enforcement. I've just never had it happen. I can think of it probably a half dozen times it happened to me while I was living out of my truck. It's just, you could be in a Walmart parking lot, you could be out in the middle of nowhere, whatever, there's different places, different times, and boom, law enforcement shows up. and they you know how they are, and they'll make you move along, and so middle of the night or wherever, you got to get up and find a different place, and it's really for no reason other than I don't know. I have no idea why they feel like they got to do that. It's not like it makes a difference whether I sleep one place or another, you know. Like I've literally just like one time I was at a parked, and Winter Park is probably one of the worst places. You always want to blend in. I was like the only person there, and yeah, sure enough, cop uh, made me move along, so I had to drive a couple miles up the road, and I just found a Publix parking lot and slept there for the rest of the night. And I just don't see what the difference is whether I'm camped at a park or a Publix. You know, either way. I guess if he would have caught me at the Publix, he would have moved me along there too. But it's just they just make you move along, and there's really no point in it. It's totally stupid. Um, but this is the power of YouTube. You know, we all got to get together. It's power in numbers. You know, we want to live free. We got we if we want to live free, we have to demand it. We have to get together, and we're all in this together. You know. Um, there's the powers that be that don't like us living free. You know, they want to have tabs on us. They want us to have a residence, and they want to know where we're at, and they want, you know, it's you know how it is. Anyway, I think I'm on number 5: vehicle maintenance, cleaning, and breakdowns. So yeah, if you have a vehicle, any kind of vehicle, RV, van, truck, it doesn't matter. You got maintenance, oil changes, change the tire, the brake pads, and you know it's endless the amount of maintenance. You always got to be worried about breaking down as well, and it's not like you have anywhere to go when you do break down. So you got to get towed, and hopefully you're smart enough to have AAA if you do, and then you got to go to a mechanic, which good luck because mechanics are shady people in general. Not always, but they can quite easily be shady, and it can easily cost more than what your vehicle's worth to fix it. I mean, this one reason alone is a reason why to go to backpacking. Vehicles are expensive. I mean, just everything is expensive. Tires are expensive. Um, you know, it's hard to change your oil yourself on the road, so you have to go to, you know, Jiffy Lube or wherever and pay the premium price. You have to pay the premium price, and they'll only put crummy oil in your vehicle. Um, so I no longer have to do any vehicle maintenance. I do have a bicycle, and I have to oil the bike chain once in a while, but that's something I can do myself, and it's very easy. I have a backpack and a few items, but you know, there's no real maintenance to it. Once in a while, I kind of spray it off with some water. The vehicle cleaning, you know, it's something you have to do once in a while. Whereas I don't really have to clean anything. I have nothing to clean. You know, one of the reasons I started doing this is because I found that I was working a 40-hour-a-week job, and on the weekends I would spend my time cleaning because that's, you know, I didn't have any time during the week to do the cleaning. So I'm cleaning the bathroom, cleaning the kitchen, scrubbing, doing laundry, doing vacuuming, and just constant. It's just constant work, constant. Well, who wants to clean all the time for their life? You know, who wants that on their gravestone cleaned all day long? You know, I mean, I don't have anything I have to clean. It's just one less thing. And when you have a vehicle, you know, it's something to clean, the outside and the inside. You got to go to the car wash. It costs money. You know, it's just like I said, this is about not spending money. Um, so it's just vehicles are a lot of money, no matter how you look at it. You got insurance, um, you know, and you're taking more risk as well as far as getting into accidents and stuff like that. All right. And number 4 would be gas, which I guess that could be included with the maintenance, but gas is huge. Obviously, it costs. We all know what gas. I mean, we all know it sucks. And in a vehicle, you're constantly tanking up. If you want to go anywhere, it's going to cost you. I haven't spent money on gas in several years. It's just, I mean, I pay sometimes for some public transportation, whether the city bus. You could Uber, which is kind of expensive, that kind of thing. But I'd know, backpacking, there is no gas bill. Like I said, this lifestyle is about not spending money. I spend about three, $4, $5 a day, and that's strictly on food. That's the only thing I literally spend money on. I don't have a cell phone service. Uh, I don't have, rent or electric or heat or anything. I totally have zero bills. And when you're in a vehicle, you have less bills than when you're in a house, but you still have some bills. You know, um, and gas is probably one of your most major bills. And depending on how much you travel or how big your vehicle is or how much it guzzles. I thought if I ever did live out of a vehicle again, I might try to do it in a Prius. Um, but that way you get 50 miles a gallon, and then that wouldn't be too bad. For a couple bucks, I can go 50 miles, and that's pretty good. But generally, you're not going to want to live out of a Prius. You're going to live out of a big RV or a big van. They get 10 miles a gallon, and good luck. It's gonna get you. It adds up quickly, a little bit every day. Calculate it year round how much you're spending in gas, and that's how much I save by backpacking. All right, limited boondocking options. Number three. This is number three. Limited boondocking options. It's getting harder and harder every year to find places to boondock with your van. There used to be free campgrounds all over the place, and there still are some, but they're slowly going away. Um, there's, I was watching Nomadic Fanatic. He's a van life guy, and I've watched him for many years now, but I haven't watched him in a long time. And I just recently watched one of his videos just to see what he was up to. And he's actually here in Florida somewhere, and he was having a hard time finding places to boondock, especially here at the beach. You know, um, and he ended up paying $20 for a campground, and I think he does that a lot now. And you pay $20 a night, it's $600 a month for a campground. I mean, the whole purpose of this lifestyle is to save money and to not pay rent. $600 a month, you're paying rent. That's rent basically. And so it's so hard nowadays to find places to boondock. You can still do it at quite a few Walmarts. The Walmart here in Sarasota, I noticed there was lots of people boondocking there, and I'm sure there's still lots of places. But you're having to travel further to get to these places because there's less of them, and which is going to cost you gas money. You might have to travel at least an hour or two to find another boondocking place. And there used to be all sorts of free campgrounds here in Florida. They've done away with all of them. They're making you pay, even at public places that's supposed to be public land. They're getting money out of it. They're making you pay. I never paid to camp. Ever, ever, ever. Never, ever do I pay to camp. I'll be sleeping right here on the beach tonight, totally free. I don't know if I'm going to be right here, but I'm going to find somewhere. I don't know where I'm going to be at the end of the night. I just crash wherever I end up at the end of the day. And I'll have oceanfront view, and it's the best camping spot possible. Whereas, think about how much it's going to cost you to camp at the beach. What, $100 a night at least? Maybe 60 at the. I don't really know. I don't never pay it, but I think I did notice there was one campground around here somewhere. I didn't look at the prices, but I just know that being near the beach is going to cost you. And it's really about damn near impossible to boondock in the Florida beaches nowadays, and almost any beach, for free anyway. So your boondocking options are becoming more and more limited. You are limited to where the roads are, and that's that's I have no limitations. It don't matter if there's a road or not, as long as I can walk there with my 2 feet, or then I can, and I don't have this big vehicle that's like stands out and the cops see it, and I'm real low. Nobody ever sees me. I can sleep in grass and nobody will even know I'm there. All right. So uh, number one, that was number two, I guess. Or number one is I can do everything people do in a van and way more. Uh, uh, so, but yeah, basically the same thing. The boondocking options. There were so many times when I was living out of my truck, I'd be driving through some area, and it'd be like a beautiful place that I'm passing by, and I would just be foaming at the mouth because I want to explore that place. It might be a place in the desert or something, and it was just there might be some mountains, and I just might see these caves from a distance, and I'd be wondering, man, I wish I could just walk over to those caves and check them out. Um, but there's nowhere to park. You can't do that. You can pull over the side of the road, but that you can't really do that. The cops, that's not really legal, and the cops are going to show up, and your vehicle might get towed or whatever. But I can go anywhere I want, and it's so easy. I don't have to, you know. So there's so much more I can do, and there's nothing that van people can do. I mean, they can get up and travel anywhere they want at any time they want. I don't need that. I mean, I can do that too. There's so many ways to travel. There's the bus system, the Ubers, bicycle, walking, hitchhiking, kayaking, airplane, Greyhound. I can get anywhere anybody in a van wants to go. Maybe not as fast, but you know what? For free. I can do it for free or for cheap. Except for the Uber. The Uber's kind of expensive, but I'd never use Uber. But I'm just saying, if I could, if I wanted to, it's there. If I really needed to get somewhere for some reason, and I just never needed to be anywhere, I'm going to be wherever I happen to be, and I kind of slowly move along. There is no, you don't need to, you know, uh, I don't never need to be somewhere else. Um, at any moment. If I need to, if I want to go somewhere, I'll go there, um, and however long it takes me, it takes me. If I have to hitchhike there, sometimes it can take up to 5 hours or so before I finally get a ride hitchhiking. So yeah, I can't get there as fast as I could if I had my own vehicle, but I can do it for free and I can get there. So I can do pretty much anything anybody does in a van. Just name it. Name what people can do in a van, and I'm pretty sure I can do it. I mean, there's no reason why I can't do what they can do. Um, and so yeah, that's it. There's no reason to live in a van. Backpacking is better, in my opinion, and that's my top 10 reasons. Thanks a lot.